Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. As I had mentioned, I'm going to be doing a lot more podcast style videos, as you can see from the title. Today, we are talking all about health, wellness, and basically more of a functional approach to health. And we're going to talk about a lot of amazing things today. And with me, I have Mr. Dennis, also known as DK. He is the owner of Water Fusions, and I'm going to let him go ahead and give us a little intro. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Dennis.
All right, Alec. Cool. Yes, thank you for the invite here. We are a wellness bar. Our focus is adaptogens, vitamins, minerals, amino acids, all the essentials that we need to grow and to rejuvenate our bodies with as humans in a really fun type of consumption type experience where you're drinking these amazing drinks that are infused with all the nutrients. You're getting water, which is hydration and elimination of toxicity. You're also getting powerful vitamins and adaptogens that rebalance the body. We are a being of homeostasis, and if our body's outside of that, it's typically due to deficiency. So we really focus on getting the body nourished and back to a homeostasis through pH balance and proper types of water. And really, one of the big things we do to make this happen for people is we offer a testing service that really provides us with, like you would find in Google when you were searching something you wanted to learn about. Well, the value of learning about your own body is really where we have the foundation of helping people get what their bodies need on a individual basis, on their genetic makeup, on their lifestyle of needs for what they need now. And this technology looks at frequency in the body, measuring deficiency and inflammation. If we think about it, then we're the two areas where people are typically outside of homeostasis or outside of balance, and they end up in a place of dis-ease. So we really help them to understand their nourishment needs and then have these easy protocols for them to be able to consume. So they're not doing some crazy diets or following a trend. They're doing specifically what's the need for their body. And that's really what we're about, is that customization.
Yes, I love that. And I've been partaking in the Water Fusions drinks as well as doing the scans. I think it's been close to 7 or at least 5 years now, right? That I've
Yeah.
been doing the scans, the DNA testing, and it's helped me out a lot with, uncovering like the things that were blocking me from fully, feeling energized and feeling good about, just being connected to my body is another thing too, making sure
Yeah.
that we're getting what we need so that we can feel more grounded and just get what our body needs and our brain needs to function. So
Yeah.
that's been a really important thing. And I'm very grateful for that, for water fusions coming into my life and being a part of my healing journey. So
Yeah.
I do want to ask you kind of like what inspired you to create water fusions? Like, what was it that really sparked that in you?
There's a few things. I believe that everything that we want to consume or that interests us, a lot of times has to have some flair to it, some excitement. And I feel like when you think about health and wellness and health foods and nutrients, it gives us such a just blah kind of feeling to begin with, because we picture ourselves doing a regimen of things that don't taste good, gagging things down to try to get an effect or a feeling that we're trying to seek out. And so the inspiration came there, knowing that my parents were trying to give us good, healthy nourishment, but always couldn't because it didn't ever taste good. It wasn't fun. And
Mm-hmm.
so the idea behind all of these things that we do here are to give you organic, to give you superfoods, to give you these beautiful gifts of the earth that sometimes don't taste that good, and give them flair without sugars, without GMOs, without all kinds of fillers and things. So the goal is to make nourishment fun. So that's the first inspiration. The second is just really like yourself, when we get to a place in our wellness where we're not satisfied, where we know something's not right and we're missing something, or we're dealing with a health issue that we can't find answers to. That was a big part of my journey as well. And when we start to find things about our individual needs. Mine, for instance, was radon gas. I had radon gas issues early on as a kid living in the Utah area, but gases under the ground are these invisible things that we don't see. And they can have a lot of repercussions on our wellness and issues that even medicine cannot sometimes find answers for. So it was through technologies like I'm using here to help people that I was able to find out solutions for my body. And what that was is that radon gas that medicine couldn't find. And I started working towards creating that balance back from what that gas had did as far as the damage on my digestive system and my brain. And so it was that journey that brought me to this and really helped to formulate water fusions on a level of when you're working with digestive issues or mental issues, you have to go back to the basics when it comes to wellness. And that foundation is where it started in getting my body back into a homeostasis so it could start healing itself. In addition to that, knowing what I was missing was also helpful, but working on mental, emotional, and physical awareness to how I'm using my energy and how I need to nourish areas of my life based on an epigenetic level and seeing the way I see things as well. We have some similarities and things that we've talked about before, and the way that we use our bioenergetic energy through stressors and things like that. So filling in those gaps with nutrients and being more aware of how I was spending that energy was helpful as well.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that. Everything you said is like spot on, and I totally agree with you when it comes to like tying in the mental and emotional part of it too, because
Yeah,
I think a lot of people when they first get into like the whole healing and illness type of thing, you go to your doctor and they're treating symptoms. They're treating, something like, for example, they have a stomach ulcer and they're just giving them a pill to kind of numb the problem. And we're not actually getting to the source of what is causing the issue. And I
so
think
true.
like a lot of these things are not just a physical problem, but this could stem from like an emotional issue or a trauma early in your life or something that caused you to be in a state of stress that we all
Hmm.
know affects our body in a negative way, that's going to
Yeah,
lead to a state of dis-ease. So it's very important for people to, I think, be able to connect the dots and understand that it's not just about eating a healthy food or taking a supplement.
hmm,
It's about getting your mental health right. And it's about being able to learn how to respond instead of react, learning how
yeah,
to regulate your emotions. And that's the other thing I really love about water fusions is that, I mean, especially for you, when we first started chatting about this type of stuff, you brought this to my awareness like, hey, you need to make sure that you're, spending more time in nature, that you're allowing yourself to be more grounded and kind of bringing yourself back to being in your body, just existing and
yeah,
being present and not just constantly running your mind and overthinking, because those are the types of things that cause us to be stressed out. And we all
yeah,
know like those stressors, they all just add up, and our body can only run on that adrenaline and stress hormone for so long until we
yeah.
start to manifest sickness.
Yeah,
So,
you're
yeah, that's
100% right, and that's so true. In the way that we have to look at our nourishment, it is something that we don't always see. It's like a frequency, or maybe even the wind. We know the wind is there. We know that what it can do. When we know, same with frequency, how it can impact us on the outside in the way that we feel on the inside, right? Uh, it's very similar with this understanding of our nourishment. What we want to show people is this bioenergetic energy that we're using when we are in our emotions or we're in our mental state, and how it is compromising our integrity of depleting our nourishment as well as
Mhm.
depleting our well-being. And we talk a lot about these two energies that we have governing us, and one is that prenatal chi energy, which is given to us through our ancestors or through our genetics in a sense, and that governs how long we're going to live and the quality of life we're going to live. And then second is that postnatal chi energy. This is the energy that you're building up inside your body, so you're not consuming the prenatal chi energy, and that's what's vital. If we start to protect that, our longevity can go a lot further, and we can have less disease and less breakdown if we're more aware of those areas of how we're spending that currency, in a sense, or nourishment that we don't see being spent.
Yeah, that's really cool. I love that you bring and kind of tie in the non-physical with the physical, because like I just
Mhm.
said, it's so connected. Like everything is so connected, and science is
Yeah.
now proving, how much our belief systems and our thoughts and all these things are
Yeah.
100% connected to our mental, our physical body and sickness. And it's going to be really cool, I think, also in the future to see
Mhm.
more things like water fusions, because I really see that as like the future of
Yeah.
nutrition and the future of how people are going to start to really take a holistic approach to nutrition when they start to see that these medications and these things that they're taking are only masking the problem, and it's, once again, it's
Yeah.
not getting to the root cause. So like you said earlier
They're
with
just such a band-aid, right?
yeah,
There's such it's a
exactly.
band-aid effect. It's not, it's filling holes up in a body that needs to be more balanced versus distilling. I mean, they're allowing you to live the lifestyle that you enjoy, whether it be processed food, stress, and different ways of lifestyles that aren't healthy, but have a balance in your body just by being chemically balanced through a pill. Where when you're naturally balanced, your body heals itself naturally. Your hormones and chemical systems run more effectively, so you're getting the balance that you need through your body, which is really the most amazing healing tool, right? We see that all the
Yep.
time. People can heal themselves from all types of disease.
Yeah, I think that's a powerful thing too, just to be able to be someone who someone can go to, and you can actually give them that hope or that belief in
Mhm.
themselves that they can heal. Because, a lot
Yeah,
of people, they go to the doctors and they hear these things like, you have 6 months to live, or it's impossible for you to, have a baby, or it's impossible for you to heal from this illness, when that's not how it is at all. We know that our brains are powerful, and we know that
yeah,
what we believe is going to become true for us. So if you're taking these things that these doctors are saying, maybe because they haven't been educated in certain areas about, how to heal certain illnesses or whatever it is, like, you want to be very careful and selective with what you believe to be
yeah,
true, because I
yeah,
think that makes people kind of give up. They give up on themselves, they give up
yeah.
on healing, and then they forget that this body is constantly healing. We're constantly,
Mhm.
growing and repairing, and our hair is constantly growing, and somehow, our lungs and our heart, all these things work while we sleep. Like, we can see that our body loves us unconditionally, and it does
Yeah,
whatever it can to keep us alive. Even people who are filling their bodies with toxins and bad food and crazy stuff and tons of alcohol and drugs, like, somehow you're still alive. If your body didn't
yeah,
love you, you'd probably just be,
yeah.
dead by now.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah, 100%. 100%. That is so true. In medicine, I mean, and I give it the benefits for a broken arm, or if we have an organ that's obviously going under, has some compromise because of our lifestyle or genetics, things like that. Definitely, medicine has some breakthrough science in helping to heal people. But ultimately, the general protocol of medicine is to medicate, operate. Outside of that, the information you get is so generic in knowing your disbalances, or not even enough information to know that if you do need to rebuild something in your body, it could be an amino acid deficiency. If you're not chemically or hormonally balanced, it could be a mineral deficiency. If you're burning out your energy and your body's breaking down, it's a vitamins or a nutritional issue you're not getting from food. So there's so many protocols that people should look at outside of medicine when they're really just feeling disbalanced. Because when you have a disbalance and you're on a medication, just watch TV on Sunday. It's a bunch of ads of a medication that can change a way you feel, so you can have a new lifestyle. But at the very end of that, it's five different different effects you're going to have due to that medicine that you're going to take. Five discomforts, whether it be diarrhea or
Exactly.
dizziness or whatever. And so you sacrifice a lot to have a balance in one thing. And those things sometimes don't always come on right away, the side effects, but they do start to come as your body starts to even break down more and more because of lack of nourishment, right?
Exactly. I love the medical industries they roll in. I know I was saying something about doctors in the medical industry that basically they obviously have their place, and
Yeah,
that we obviously know that it's amazing that we can have a crazy something happen, like a car accident or whatever it is. Like, we have those people that can stitch us up and do those types of things, but I definitely don't feel like those same doctors should be the ones that are, for example, helping heal chronic illness, unless, of course, that is a doctor that specifically studied the body and how it can heal itself, so that we're not putting out or pushing out so many medications and pills that, once again, have so many side effects and symptoms that, once again, like long term, this is not going to benefit us. And I think a lot of people, too, this is something that I've been realizing is, we're having these symptoms within our own bodies, but what's going to happen to the future generations? Like, are we even thinking about how this is going to affect our children and their children? Like, the downstream effects of these medications, or who knows what else is in these things that are causing the side effects? Like, that's probably going to have a not very good um,
yeah,
outcome on our children.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
kind of scary.
I imagine, yeah, through genetics and through transferring of DNA data through obviously the human body, if there's chemical the disbalances, like I know, for instance, in small children, if a mom doesn't give her child enough iron in her, well, in the womb as well as in those early ages of nourishment, that a lot of times those deficiencies can lead to autism or ADHD,
Hmm.
and we're seeing the rise of that based on malnourishment of the mother, and that over time affects the next generation, and that generation of fully functioning humans that are have the abilities to have balanced minds, balanced bodies, things like that.
Yeah. Exactly. I Can you talk a little bit more about the nutritional deficiencies too, because I know that that's something that, is very important to touch on nowadays, because, a lot of the food and the soil's depleted, and we're not getting the same amount of nutrients and vitamins that we need because our food is so depleted.
Yeah, yeah, that's so true. We used to have 30 years ago these rich, nourishing soils that our foods were cultivated in. And as we've grown as a society, and the human race has grown, we need more food. We need more things. And in turn, we've overturned the soils. Our farming is not as nutritional. The soils don't offer a lot. So when we consume, one may think they get everything from the foods they eat. And that's so untrue nowadays. You have to have the supplemental nourishment to really get what your body needs. In fact, an interesting study that I read and that was brought up that really helps to understand this, that and the deficiency factor, in 10 years there is a good possibility that most humans will die just of a common cold because their bodies are
Wow.
so depleted in nourishment. And we could see that happening already with COVID. We've seen people that were so malnourished and already in a state of dis-ease, in a sense, that they couldn't make it through what COVID was. And I'm not saying COVID was the easy breezy thing. That was a very complex dis-ease in the sense that affects respiratory system and other parts of the body. But in turn, if you don't have a defense system in you, because you're not nourished correctly, you're never going to be able to get to a balanced or a healing state. And so it's essential. We think of it as the foundation. That foundation of nourishment is essential. And I use an example, you hear me, Holly, a lot of times, but a vehicle, a rocket to space, a plane, none of these things get to the destination without having the proper fuels and balance within the mechanics of that machine to get to its destination. We are the similar, we're so similar in so many ways that if we're not fueled correctly, it's hard for us to get to that destination or the goal or the achievement that we want without having a body that's firing precisely. So that is a good way to look at how important that nourishment, that foundation of nourishment is for our bodies.
Yeah, I totally agree. I've noticed. for me too, through the years of doing these different scans, like the DNA
Mhm.
testing with you to kind of see what my nutritional deficiencies are. I found that for me personally, there's like a select few things that, always show up. And it's like the minerals, for example, because even though for the most part, I do supplement with minerals, I just think that it's one of those things that, especially if you're active or, once again, if you're constantly, overthinking and you're in a state of stress, your body's like burning through this stuff like crazy. You're,
Yeah,
you're needing these things for, neurotransmitters and for just basic functions in the body or whatever it is that, the body does to keep us alive. We need those things. We need
yeah,
magnesium to help, keep the body alkaline so that we're not going into a very acidic place, which we know causes disease. So there's so many things that, these little nutrients that we think, maybe some people don't even think about because maybe they're just unaware, we're uneducated because we don't learn these things. But, simple little deficiencies can cause like really big, huge issues like sleep problems or, stomach issues, or you have headaches all the time. And it could literally just be like an electrolyte imbalance, or you
so
don't have
so
enough
true.
minerals in your body.
Yeah, yeah, and that's what it is. It's this lack of that puts our body into compromise, and it's such a small little thing too. Like for instance, we're talking about minerals. Well, it's just that small amount of trace mineral, like an iodine supplement, or getting enough iodine, or even enough lithium to make sure that your brain functions properly, enough copper so digestion works properly, or even a chromium for balancing glucose levels out in the brain, so we don't crave as much as we might. There's so many different little things that you can see on either a genetic level and know that's something you'll always need to take, or maybe your body just in the now moment, because it's depleted, needs some of that to restore balance. So that's the information that we really try to help people understand and see based on their specific needs.
Yeah, that's definitely something that's helped me a lot is being able to see, like you said, what's genetic, what are the things that I know for me personally that I should probably continue to take, every day, like a
Yeah,
multivitamin and whatever else comes up. But then also knowing that there are certain things like certain nutrients or minerals and vitamins that we may need to take temporarily if, we're going through a very
yeah,
stressful time in our life, or maybe we need to boost certain things so that our body can, have a better time or an easier time healing and getting through those, bumps in the road and things like that.
yeah.
What is like the most common deficiency you see in people?
It differs for everyone, but one of the ones that I get most worried about with people is typically just vitamin nutrition, your vitamins A through K. When you think about those, vitamin A is beta carotene. It's good for your eyes, good for your skin. It's anti-cancerous. Um, eh, Vitamin B, all the B vitamin family has potential benefits for skin beauty, for methylation, removal of toxicity, rebuilding cells, rebuilding brain nourishment. And when you see people depleted in those essential vitamins, it's number one indicator that you're not getting enough from your foods. And so that would be probably the first thing. I think that vitamin deficiency is so important. They all play a role, but that one really protects that longevity we need to protect.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Um,
I'll
yeah, I
tell you
feel
one
like
thing. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I feel like we already kind of touched on obviously the link between, you know, I guess we didn't really go into great detail on this, but like the nutritional aspect, making sure that you're eating a proper diet and then also supplementing, because you don't want to be
Mhm.
someone who's like, eating McDonald's and you're eating tons of fast food and then you're like, I feel like crap. I'm just going to take
Yeah,
a multivitamin and I'll be
yeah.
okay.
That would be the same as the chemical actions that medicine, Western medicine gives. Take this, chemical band-aid and keep living your lifestyle. It comes in hand. You've got to supplement as well as nourish, and
Mhm.
start to find ways in which you find foods and nourishment that's healthy that you enjoy. And we help people with that too, because a lot of times, especially here in America, you can eat anything. and that anything you can eat is broad. And we as genetic designed humans, we don't all require the same foods. And that's a vital role in the way we consume as well, because if we were really to eat correctly, we would typically eat out of a region of the earth that supplies the foods that are nearest to you and what works best for your body. Um, and so we can find about any creation or anything we would like based on that here, based on America. So it does help to keep your food minimal, but more designed for your body type. And so we talk a lot about that as well, and that consumption of foods. And foods are either one of two things: they're either a fuel or they're a burden. And when they become a burden, it's just working your body a lot harder to break down those things, especially if it's processed or refined in some way by man.
Yeah, that's so important. And that's one thing that I stress too, as a personal trainer is a lot of people, they want that magic pill or that magic thing that's going to make them lose all the weight or whatever. And I
Yeah,
think that society nowadays kind of has trained people in a lot of ways to want this instant quick fix. And sure, there are a lot of benefits to, having overnight shipping and being able to go to a restaurant and order food and have it made for us. We're very blessed to be able to get things so quickly nowadays, but I think it also creates this lack of um, respect for and understanding that we also need to keep, the core of like, a lifestyle and understanding that we still need to eat a balanced diet. Like there's not really going to be any pill necessarily that can replace, your your micronutrients that you get from eating quality foods because
yeah,
the body recognizes food as food. But if we're putting these things like Oreos and tons of processed stuff that potentially isn't even all food, it's just and different things that the body doesn't even really recognize as food because food can be, is information in the body. And so
yeah,
are the foods that you're eating coming from the earth? Does the body recognize that as, like you said, like fuel, or is it we're ingesting chemicals and toxins that are causing burden on all parts of our body, because that's just going to create all sorts of problems. So I think
yeah,
it's something that I really stress with all of my clients is that, are you wanting to actually create a lasting change and see a difference and change your lifestyle so that you feel better? Or is it that you're just coming to me because you think that you want a quick fix and you want this to work, and then, I'm going to lose 20 pounds, but then what's going to happen after? You go back to
yeah, yeah.
that same way of living.
Mhm. Yeah. To heal is really taking a very broad look at your environment, because what you do consume on all levels, emotionally, mentally, and physically, you are, and it really is
Literally.
as simple as that. So you have to really put that into perspective of what you're consuming on all levels, because that is your either your fuel or your burden. And if you realize that as a foundation, that too is a great thing. And talking a little bit about that, when you talked about earlier about a magic pill, the best thing I can give you to a magic pill that works is the discovery of what you need on a nutritional level.
True.
When you think about your individual needs outside of whatever else what everyone else is doing. If your friend's on a celery diet, well, good for them. That celery diet could be giving them all the results they could ever want, because psychologically they feel good about it, and it's their friends doing good on it too. But when we really find discovery, and that's what I believe truly is the passion about what I do, and what you even do as well, I think, and that is that when we think about discovery, when we turn on a new feature in our body, it's that is magic in itself, because you've activated something that was dormant or wasn't awake inside you. And the potential of a human and the potential of us is unlimited, and we see that in our society with people that are creating and people that are helping to find ways for mankind to live better, live healthier, and to live here on this earth in a condition where we can truly feel happy and be happy. And so there's a lot of good that comes out of that when humans really do start to activate, right, and discover new ways they can turn on functions in their bodies.
Yeah, that's very, very true. Yeah, I find it so fascinating that you can take the DNA testing like you do. And by the way, for any of you guys who are curious, this machine, it reads through acupuncture points. So a lot of it obviously is through frequency. And through these frequencies, it's kind of, reading exactly what your body needs specific to you. So it's very custom for you.
Yeah,
And, I've done that multiple times, testing with you to see which foods were helpful and which foods were hurtful for me. And the funny thing is, sometimes it's not even just the toxic, processed foods. It can just be, certain things that once again don't resonate with the body. It could be something as simple as like almonds or some sort of nut or seed that once again your body isn't resonating with, that is causing more of a burden than it is, you know, balance
yeah,
in the body. So
yeah.
it's
I see that so much, especially again in a society where we categorize healthy foods and bad foods. So anything in this healthy category, people will always say, "Oh, that's good for you. That's really good for you. That's not going to do any harm." That's
yep.
not the case. Everybody's body's different, and some things that are super healthy may not be healthy or could be toxic towards for someone else.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
when we know our individual needs, again, it's a key way to dial in uh, body processing that's built for you. And I share that with people a lot of times too. There's a book that's called Eating for Your Blood Type. 4 blood types, and in each of those blood types, there's a methodology in the way that we eat that's been monitored through data of our human existence. So when we start eating more designed based on our blood type, we start to perform more based on a individual basis, but tied into a specific blood type that some foods work better for than would work for others. So it's a great way
Exactly.
to keep that track as well on
Yep.
what you're
And
putting
I
in.
Yeah, and I think everyone's journey is individual too. That's part of the beauty of, us being able to listen to podcasts and do our own research and read the books, because the sad thing is, a lot of the time when you go to a doctor or you go somewhere to try to figure out what the problem is, you a lot of the time you hear the same thing, either it's take this or it's try this out, and it's more of a cookie cutter type of thing that is supposed to work for everyone, eat keto or eat this because it worked for the majority of people. But the thing is,
Yeah,
like Dennis just said, we are so individual. Every single one of us has, different genetics. We all have different, ancestry. And based on all those things is going to determine, what types of foods work best for you. Different lifestyles suit people better. And even when it comes to like my industry, fitness, certain people's bodies respond differently to different types of exercise. So if you're thinking that you're just going to be like, this is the program that works best for me because it worked good for all of these other people, that doesn't mean that it's going to work best for you, because
yeah. You
your
might not
body
get those
responds different.
results.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
exactly.
yeah,
So it's
and
so individual.
yeah, it is. And I think too, a lot of people struggle a lot of times to get those results because they're not being nourished correctly. So they can get
Mm-mm.
on a good protein, they can get on a good pre-workout and a post-workout, and they get pushing themselves, but they may not make it to their end goal if they're not nourishing correctly how their body's designed. And that can, a lot of times can create some wear and tear on the body that could result in more dis-ease down the road. Or not only that, you fatigue out and then you burn your body out too. You know?
Yep, exactly. And then mentally, I've seen this happen with so many people, is that they're working with someone or they're trying a certain diet and it's, not working for them, 6 months down the road, and they're like, I'm plateaued, I'm not seeing results anymore. And then they start to lose faith in themselves. They start to think
Yeah.
that it's just their genetics, that they're never going to look how they want to look. And so they give up on their goals. They give up on the fact
Mhm.
that, maybe it's just that my family was always this way. My mom had, this sickness, or my dad had this sickness. That just means that I have to live with it. And
Yeah.
this kind of goes back to the same thing I said in the beginning. Your brain, your mind, and your beliefs are powerful. If you believe that you are going to heal, you're going to find a way for it to happen. But if you give up, then you're just going to sabotage every time. So you have to be very aware of your thought processes, how you're thinking about things. And, if you are someone who wants to heal an illness or you want to get a certain result with your body or your mental health, you have to first ask yourself, do I believe this is possible?
Yeah,
Because you need to have
so
even
true.
just a tiny bit of belief that you can do it.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. That's one of the key things that we really help people. In fact, on our worksheet here that we work with people on, the first big line up top says, "I, Dennis, am healing and balanced." Your belief system, your ability to know that you're going to heal is your is it has to be as strong as anything else that you desire, and you got to want that for yourself. That's the key to getting your body where you want it to be, and feeling good. And it does take all three of those things that we talk about with people in that wellness of the wellness pyramid we use: mental,
Mm-hmm.
emotional, physical. That is the structure of wellness, and it's really keeping that physical body optimal by knowing our awareness to our emotional needs, our mental needs, and our physical needs. Truly is the streamlined and the efficiency way to get your body well fast.
Yep. Yeah, I love that. That's literally like my biggest passion is being able to tie all of these different pillars together for people to understand how to just be a happy, healthy individual and actually truly thrive, not just be in this state of
Yeah,
survival or whatever, because we all know that, you can have a happy relationship and you can have all the money in the world, but if your mental health is completely deteriorated, like, and you're depressed and you feel like crap, like, you're not going to want to do anything. Like,
yeah,
you
exactly.
have to have all of these things somewhat in balance or somewhat in harmony in
Yeah,
order to like live a balanced life. And so it's all connected. And yeah, I think that
100%.
more that people can do the research, learn these things, that they
Yeah,
can start to apply it to their own life. And once again, do what works for you. Know your
yeah,
body, listen to the subtle, things within your own being, like the
yeah,
little intuitions, and
yeah.
find
You're
what
100% right, Holly.
works.
That's how we transform. We transform by sitting in ourselves and seeing what we're dissatisfied with. Once we understand there's a dissatisfaction, then we're looking for something to create balance, right? Because we've discovered that we don't feel good about, comfortable about what is happening inside of us. And when you get to that stage and you want to discover more about your own body, there's nothing better than looking at your alternatives to how you can understand your needs even better by using the technology we're using here and becoming more aware of your personal needs by understanding how different disbalances or different things you're putting in are triggering your inflammation or degeneration.
Yeah,
You
it's very powerful stuff. And I can say for me, I mean, I've been on this so-called healing journey for probably about 6 years of really just trial and error and trying different diets, trying different supplements, and working out and trying this type of exercise and this thing and this thing. And so it was really me fine tuning and learning to really listen to my body and understand that if I'm doing something and it doesn't feel good, chances are that's not good for me, because your body's always giving you subtle cues about what's good for you. And it's so
yeah,
simple. If you feel good, you're probably doing something right. So,
yeah,
when you're eating certain foods, if it doesn't resonate, you're probably going to feel kind of sick or you have a little stomach ache. That probably means don't eat that food or eat less of it. So,
yeah,
I think the number one thing that is very powerful on your journey to healing is being in tune with yourself and being in tune with the subtleties within your own body. Like you said, spend time with yourself, meditate, and get to know what it feels like to be in your own body so that you can be
yeah,
more connected to what's good for
yeah,
you.
yeah. You're right. It's all about it's kind of like the frequency, right, that we use here. It's a measurement of degeneration, inflammation. Well, on a day-to-day basis, we use measurement on a regular basis, what we should wear based on the weather, the time we should leave based on, how long it takes us to get somewhere. We're measuring constantly. So we're taking in the next step in an intuitive measurement of how we feel or what we feel dissatisfied with, and how we can start to make the changes to feel better and to have hope that we can get that, because there are other people that have used our services and other ways to heal their bodies and get to a place where they're not always seeking something to create a balance back on deficiency. Once you become aware of yourself and aware of your needs, and you're walking through this in a more conscious way of life, you're able to really not have to be navigating so much, but really enjoy life, being in the present moment, because you've got the hormonal and chemical balance, and you've balanced out the emotional traumas, and you're able to work with some of those things and understanding them. Our goal is to streamline and give efficiency to those three areas we talked about. So when one is caught up in an emotional mind where it's negative or draining their physical energy, or their emotions and the drama that they're caught up in life can start to be more noticed and aware of, they can step back out of that and know that that's a dissatisfaction, and they can start to make goals to achieve or to evolve as a human. And I see that happening every day in our society. People that are coming here that are really starting to evolve as humans because they're getting to know their internal wellness better.
Yes.
It's
That's
amazing,
so
right, Holly?
beautiful. Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
It's so amazing to see people really just, be able to step into that and step into their power. That's what I like to say. It's like
yeah.
remembering that, you came here to have a good time and to thrive, not to just be
Mhm.
miserable. And so, don't lose hope. Once again, it's like,
Yeah,
keep the faith and understand that it's going to happen, and remind yourself every day, I'm healing.
yeah,
I'm
you're healing.
well, I'm thriving.
Yeah, that's the
Use those
first start.
powerful, powerful
Three
words.
processes that humans go through, and every human in life. Survival is where most people stay, because they're always in a place of survival, because they're seeking outside things to create internal fulfillment. And so we have to realize first, we have to settle with our dissatisfactions and make efforts to make those dissatisfactions that are inside of us balanced and well. Once you get to that stage, well, we move into the service mode. And that's where we start helping others and sharing our knowledge and giving people love and opening our hearts to other people. And the last one is the surrender. When you get to a place where you're at ease in your body, you're in a place where your service has created relationships and nourishment. You've helped people. And now you're in a surrender place where you're no longer on the journey for your own healing, but you're in a place where you allow yourself just to be. And that's ultimately, like you said, I think that's where people will really find true inner peace, is when they're in that place where their inner contentment, their inner fulfillment is balanced, because their body's balanced.
Yes, true.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
where
that's
it's
that's
all
the
at.
goal.
Yep, yep, yep.
That's the goal with everything that we're doing.
Yeah, yeah.
Is there anything that you want to touch on? Maybe tell people where they can find you, or how they can maybe do this testing if they're interested?
Yeah, we're in the Sugar House, Utah area. Your testings are real simple. In fact, we have right now in this state, we're giving them testings for free. We really want to show people how they can make a difference in their body. So all we ask you to do is to choose one of the testings that you want. We always tell people deficiency right out of the gate is the first one to test on. And then we provide what you are buying as a nourishment pack that's designed specifically for you. It's matched to your body. And the goal there is to show you validation. Each month while you're testing, we're showing how your nutrition levels are lowering, as well as how you're being more balanced emotionally, mentally, and physically by making some of these changes in your life. So, yeah, we invite anyone that wants to understand and discover more about your potential as a human and what you're able to do once you're balanced. And we in fact give people a 60-day guarantee that you can feel 10 years younger in 60 days. And we do that by making you accountable, but giving you the tools that you need to get your goals, to meet your goals, to achieve your goals. And if you can put your trust in us in that, we'll give you the results, or you don't pay anything, because we know how good what we do works for people.
Yeah, I totally believe that. And I can put I'll put the website in the description box below. That way people can go check
Yeah.
that out. And then are you guys still shipping drinks too? I'm
We
guessing if
do,
people are.
yeah. In fact, I'm working a lot with people even remotely. It may seem where how does that work? But where people don't want to live or they're so busy, you can send us a picture of yourself. No one else in the picture, but we can actually take the picture and use it as a frequency of who you are. And I'm working with some people right now in Arizona, and I just helped a girl who has been having some severe digestive issues, and she was with just a picture. I was able to see her testing, and she was allergic to multiple foods, but Brussels sprouts came up as one, and she was eating them on the regular. And it was
Wow.
funny because she says, "Wow, how'd you know I was eating Brussels sprouts?" Well, she sent me a text today and said she's never felt so good. She's feeling amazing. And so results like that continue to come in where people are being helped with us shipping the drinks, working remotely. We're able to help you on multiple levels. So please give us any questions you have, or people have concerns about how they can get back to an optimal state. At least give us a try and see if we can help you out.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, thanks for doing that. I think that, you sharing all this information, there's always going to be somebody out there who's like looking for that and looking for that person or thing that they can use to, help aid in their healing or help them on their healing journey. So that's really powerful. And for anyone out there who, is looking for, like I said, I do personal training. If you're looking for more of like a custom workout plan, made specifically for you and your needs based on where you are in your healing journey, because it's going to look different for women and for men. It's going to look different. So if you're looking for something like that, of course, you guys can let me know down in the comments below, or you can check
I,
out my social medias as well.
Holly's 100% right. Everything we've talked about, we left one thing out, and that is movement. It's essential.
Mm,
It's the ionic charge that naturally activates our healing potential. So movement is vital for all these things to work. And it doesn't have to be extreme, but everyone it has to be tailored to what you need. And it's a
yes.
great way to incorporate that, Holly, to helping people get those
Yeah.
results.
Yeah, for some people it's walking, like as simple as
Yeah,
going on a walk every day or, dancing or something that's moving the body. But once again, it's all going to be tailored based on what your goals are. So it's
yeah,
definitely going to look different for each person. But
yeah.
yeah, I really appreciate you, Dennis, for coming on here today and sharing
Loved it.
your
Thank you for the
wisdom and
opportunity, Holly. Love to
all of that.
be here
But
with you. Cool.
yeah, maybe we can do something like this again. If you guys loved this episode, let me know in the comments. Give the video a like because it supports the channel and helps push this
Yes.
out to more
We will.
people so more people can hear about it. And I'll put Dennis, all of his information will be in the description box so you guys can check out their Instagram and their website if you guys are interested. So that will
You're great,
conclude
Holly.
today's episode.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Appreciate you.
thanks again.
Okay. Bye bye.
See you. Bye.